Yeah, absolutely. I think it was a good weekend offensively, and honestly, even though the pitching numbers didn't necessarily show it, I think after Friday night, we did some good things from a pitching standpoint, especially the bullpen. But if not from an offensive standpoint, I thought it was a really productive weekend. Learned a lot about our club.
Pretty excited that obviously there's a lot of question marks with so many great bats graduating last year. You had to replace a lot of offense. You see that kind of performance Friday pretty confident.
I think it was encouraging from an offensive standpoint. First off, yeah, we knew we had to replace a lot of big bats, but there was an active. We actively tried to revamp the offense from what it was last year, from a recruiting standpoint and how we coached it all year long. Just from the standpoint of, felt like we were too station to station last year. Weren't very versatile, weren't athletic enough. There was a lot of thump, obviously, all the way through our order last year, but we were very one-dimensional. If we couldn't out-hit you, it was really tough for us to manufacture runs any other way. There was a conscious decision on our part to change that and try to become more athletic, be able to hit and run, be able to steal some more bases, that kind of stuff with this group. So the offense looks very different than it did last year, but I think it looks different in a good way, and I do think some of that came to fruition this weekend.
You guys had that big comeback on Friday, kind of spring the rest of the weekend. It almost felt like you guys got that early on. We could do this. It kind of helped build there in the dugout.
Yeah, I think so. Again, it's early to tell as far as how much that played a part, just as far as the attitude of this group. But I do think the group as a whole is going to come together and be a really close knit group and is going to fight through some adversity. So I do think a little bit of that shined through on Friday night. Really, a little bit of it yesterday as well. So I do think there's going to be some fight in this group.
Coach, after on Friday, you got 10 runs, you got 5, 4, 4, and then I saw yesterday, Max, Mason, Reese, you put together a good streak of pitching. How do you feel about your pitching after this week?
Still some question marks. We didn't perform like we should have. And again, it's early, so that's the one thing that's tough about the way our schedule's set up and opening with a conference series and opening with a good conference here. Like, listen, people think international. I'm telling you right now, that was a good ball club, guys. They're going to win a lot of baseball games this year. I told Middleton that at the end of the series, when we shook hands at home plate yesterday. Like, listen, that's a really good ball club. They can hit. So from a pitching standpoint, I saw some good things, and I saw some things we got to improve on. We've got to get better starts on Saturday. I think both those guys will be the first to tell you they didn't meet their expectations of what they expected themselves or what we expect of them. After Friday night was discouraging because of the way our bullpen threw. I mean, and Nick is a little deceiving because we had the rain delay and he had to come back after that, and he wasn't the same guy once he came back from the rain delay. So if you look at his combined stat line from Friday, you look at it and go, man, you didn't get a very good start out of that. He was dominant for 4 innings before we went into the rain delay. And then we made the mistake of running him back out there for the 5th. That's on us. We shouldn't have. But then the bullpen was not very good on Friday night. That was really discouraging, but they did make up for it, in my opinion, on the rest of the weekend. I thought after Friday night, the bullpen was our strength the rest of the weekend. Hoagland's start on Sunday was really encouraging to see him finally come back, and after all he's been through with the injuries and stuff like that over the last 2 years, to see him come back and give us that kind of start on a really tough day to pitch on was really encouraging. So again, it was some ups and downs. There was a lot of really encouraging things, and then there was a lot of things that were glaringly, man, we got to get better in that area.
Speaking of the weather, you guys kind of experienced it all this week prior to the rain delay yesterday with all the wind.
Welcome to West Texas.
Is that kind of introductory there to the guys? Like, this is what you can expect every weekend?
Yeah. I mean, again, we had great days on Friday and Saturday, and then on Sunday the wind was howling in, and that cold north wind, that's what I went over and told Middleton before. Well, during BP, I told him, we didn't want you to come in all the way up here without getting that true panhandle experience, So, yeah, it is what it is. Unfortunately, part of the game plan every day out here is taking into consideration the weather and how that's going to affect offense and pitching and so on and so forth. I mean, our lineup every day is based on what the wind's going to do or what the temperature is going to be or how that may change halfway through the game, and being prepared for that with the guys off the bench and so on and so forth. So whether you like it or not, it's going to be a factor every time we play here.
Get the long road trip to Kingsville this week, and they get the drop 3 out of 4 to St. Ed's to start the season. So just kind of what are you looking for in this series?
Looking for a really tough series. It always is. And number one, them dropping 3 out of 4 this weekend is, in my opinion, incredibly deceiving. Jason does a really good job with that bunch down there. They're always really good, really competitive. And then you add the 11-hour bus ride on top of that. It's always an incredibly tough place to go play. It's a great environment. They've got a lot of hecklers down there, which makes it fun, but for new guys, that can be a little bit of a culture shock. I promise you, we're going to have our hands full this weekend. We got to have our guys ready to go and expect a really tough weekend of baseball. Again, that 3 out of 4, them dropping 3 out of 4 at St. Edwards, that's deceiving.